Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy, and today we will be talking about government to release classified UFO information. This is probably going to be a short one because I just, okay? Now, I'm going to cut straight to it. I'm not going to do the whole waiting, yada yada that I normally do. So I was watching, I was on my CR Fire Pro, my wrestling account, and I was listening to the Hannibal show, and he did a review on the movie They Live, and in that review he talked about how a friend of his knows this person in the military. Well, they're retired, and even though they're retired, and his friend asked him about are aliens real and all this other stuff, and he was like, this person's very credible and all this. He went through the whole thing that anybody would to try to get someone to believe something. And he's like, they're very credible. They know what they're doing. They've been in this for like so many decades, and they've seen so many things. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you what I do know, but I can say that they walk among us. And I'm like, okay, cool, all right, they walk among us. I'm not saying that it's a lie, and I'm not saying that it's, true. I'm just, I can't do that. So then later, which is today, he was talking about how the government is to release classified UFO information. And he said that the people that were to do it are called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. It's always a task force. So, okay. And they're going to release all this footage. And he talks about how the Navy and those that are, in these fighter jets or anything of the sort, or even test equipment, how that they're highly trained and they know their stuff. They're experts, and because you can tell that their reactions, they are real and they are, honest. It's okay, all right. So here's the thing: just because someone's been extremely credible in one area doesn't mean that they're credible in this area. They might be incredible, but I don't think they are credible. In order for someone to be credible in a specific area, they must have known experience in that area. I mean, how else do you get a PhD? You have to go through the teachings. You have to go through the training. You have to be able to know the area so well you can teach it. So, for them to be credible in their field, they have the credentials. There's the paper trail. There's the educational trail. To be an expert in foreign, sentient life, there would definitely have to be a lot of contact with it. And I'm not saying that no one has that. And I'm not saying that the people that are linked to Hannibal or anyone that he knows doesn't know that. What I'm saying is, if there is an actual threat to the planet, all right, and nobody says anything, and they allow this threat to get out and spread and kill over 140,000 people, then wouldn't that person be held reliable and accountable and liable to everything that has happened and could have been prevented and are responsible for all those deaths? Therefore, if some gunman kills 6 people or 50 people or 4 people, then that person goes to prison and probably gets a death penalty. So if you have the ability to stop a foreign agent of any high or low scale magnitude, if you can keep that from killing your citizens, but you say, and your citizens die, shouldn't you go to prison? Shouldn't there be some kind of crime? Shouldn't that be sort of treasonous? You know what I'm saying? You probably wonder what I'm talking about. I ask you, am I talking about the possible aliens, or am I talking about a virus? Tell you the truth, I'm talking about both. I'm talking about both. So could they walk among us? Yes, they could. Could have always been here. Okay. If they were a threat, if they were an outright threat to our survival, truth be told, we'd be dead by now. I mean, that's just it. We'd be dead. But then you might ask, well, why would they keep themselves so secret if they're not a threat? Do you see how white racists are treating minorities? Do you see how Trump is allowing this? Do you see the protest of cops beating and killing protesters? It was just black people, but then they're like, you know what? You white people want to get in the way. Y'all in the way. So yeah. And also, when it comes to the racist rallies with Nazi symbols, Confederate flags and stuff, seems like police ain't doing anything. And often there are videos where all the police do is protect them. It's a clear divided line. And we know where everything is. We just don't know where the aliens are or who they are. Now, I'm not saying invasion of the body snatchers is a thing. I'm not saying if you go old school in the 80s, V is a thing. I'm not saying that's how anything would be, but I am definitely saying that if they were a diabolical threat, we've been dead a long time ago. Now, where do I stand on aliens and whatnot? Do I think aliens could be here, have been here, will be here? I think yes. I think yes. I think we have been visited, but I don't know if we have been visited. I don't know. You know, and you might ask, well, what's my evidence that aliens are even real? Simple. We're real. There's a race of beings in this universe that think that we don't exist. Because, I mean, we've been around for all this time. How come we aren't flying through space at warp speed, you know, or transwarp speed, or anything of the sort? Why aren't we doing that? I mean, we've had enough time, you know. So, hey, and if we're so advanced, why are we beating and killing each other based on race and who believes if whose God is real or not? And we're killing each other based on, do you like the same sex, or do you agree with us that the same sex should never even be allowed to happen to be together? Oh, well, shoot, y'all shouldn't even get married, even though it's just business anyway. That's all marriage is. But you can't get married. You know, we get married under the Lord's name, and then, you know, because that's powerful. The Lord knows all, see all powerful. We get married under Him, but you know, He's so weak we get divorced too. And you should never kill, although racist, police, military. I mean, aliens see us, and it's like, we're not going to unveil ourselves to y'all. So yeah, and besides, in closing, to get to the one thing that, so I can toot my own horn a little bit, just a little bit. A while ago, I made a video, and I think I did a really good job, but it was about how the presidents plural, how they all, when they get in a heap of trouble, that's when they want to pull out the UFO card. Every single time they get in trouble, it's the damn UFO. Every single time. And I made a nice chronological video based on that. And just to be honest, it's happening again. And let me tell you something about these flyover documents. They see these craft. Okay? Now, I've never heard the report of a camera being under a plane. And I'm sure that they are there. It makes sense. But for some reason, they have these things locked in their crosshairs if they're in combat. And somehow, no matter how this thing moves in the air, it stays in the crosshairs. Now, they're not piloting and maneuvering as fast as these craft. So how do you stay locked in the crosshairs when something can zip across the sky so fast and get out of the range? How do you keep that in sight at all times? And then, and their reactions are never fear. And you can be trained to be calm. I get that. Yes. But there are things that some people just are not prepared for. And that's one of them. So, I'm not saying how I would be is basically how they should be. But they all react at the same level. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. And going on the level of CGI today, anything could be made. And with enough rehearsal, anything can be done. Oh boy, look at this. Oh, this is amazing. What? Oh, but look at that thing go. Look at that. That's amazing. You got this? You got this? I got this. This is good. We're good. The boys aren't going to believe this. I'm telling you that now. With enough voice acting and training, anyone could be passable. It's not that hard. It's not. So, I do think, I don't go on belief because we're alive. We're here. We function. So there are things out there that's doing the exact same thing. And just, in our arrogance and our hubris and our self-centeredness, we're like, there's nothing out there because we're still wrapped in the religion that the little dots up there just light for us to see at night. That's what we're still wrapped in that religion. We can't get out of our own way to see what's past anything. We can't even go into space again properly. And soon we won't be able to because there's so much junk and scrap flying around the planet at 50,000 miles an hour that soon, if anything gets put into orbit, it's going to get destroyed. Earth does have a thin blue ring. And I guess it's water and whatnot. Maybe frozen water. Maybe frozen dirt or land or whatnot. But Earth has a blue ring. Jupiter has a red ring. Keep that in mind. What's out there? How many of you even knew that the Earth has a blue ring? And if you didn't know that Earth does have a ring, if you didn't know that, and this is Earth, then how could you say that you know what's not beyond that ring? That those rings of the ring of Jupiter, it's not dust, it's rock. But they say Jupiter doesn't have a rock, it's not a rocky planet. How do you know? Have you been past all those clouds to find out? It's a lot to think about. It's a ton to think about. They're going to release the footage. Okay, fine, release it. But no one's going to believe it. They're not. And then the ones that do want to believe it, they're going to leap out their skin believing it. Where do I place myself? Right in the middle. It could be real. It could be fake. It could be something real masked over to look more pleasing to the human eye. It could be something real that's kind of pointless looking, made up to look more threatening. But if it's just going to be more flying saucers caught in the crosshairs of a plane that's going 600 and 700 miles an hour in a straight line, but yet somehow keep the radar on that thing, keep the eye on it at all times while flying straight, I don't know about that. Area 51 won't let anyone in and will definitely kill them if they try. The Pentagon got. You know what? You think the secrets are extraterrestrial? No, the secrets are all how they're screwing you over. And soon, I'm waiting for people to come out and say that they steal so much money from us so they can pay their alien overlords. I'm waiting for that crap. There's a lot, and I'm waiting on it. I am not saying what I'm not going to say what's true. I'm not going to say what's not true. But healthy skepticism is definitely a key to everything. It is. So I say, don't believe and don't disbelieve. Just analyze what you see. Think about it. Wait until other people can debunk it. And just try to live your life as COVID-19 free as possible. Simply that. Wash your hands. Open your packages with gloves. Wear your masks. Spray it down with some disinfectant or something like that. Keep yourself safe. Because I'm not worried about an extraterrestrial coming in and jacking me up. I'm worried about the dude slobbering on the packages when they box it in. I'm worried about the dude slobbering on the packages when they deliver it. I'm worried about the dude that wants to deliver something, touches the doorknob with his little ungloved hands, little Neanderthal hands. That's what I'm worried about. So, if you got comments, you got queries and whatnot, comment section below. You know how I roll. So, it's Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening and stay skeptical.